All right, good morning, everyone. I've got 10:01 and we want to be very cognizant of your time. We know you are all busy people. Um, we don't have a ton of information for you today, but we do want to go over a few things. And as always, just want to be open to any questions, concerns, any topics you all want to bring up. We are here to listen to you and to try to connect and provide resources. So hope you all are doing well. I will attempt to pull up a PowerPoint to start us off. It is not long. Let's good. All right, great. I just want to go over real quickly our purpose for our industry sectors because I know oftentimes you're thinking, well, what am I getting out of this? What are they getting out of this? We want to try to make sure that you know why you're here and that it's worthwhile that you're here. Of course, to build cohesion and relationships. If you don't, that's why we ask you to sign in on the chat. If you would please do that with your name and your organization. Oftentimes, this allows someone else to be able to know when you comment, that you're having a particular concern. We hope that you can take a conversation offline and talk more about that. Someone else in our region may have solved the very issue that you're having, and that's the kind of information we want to foster. Of course, to steer educational initiatives, we have several of our educational partners on here today and love when they can provide us with some input on what's going on there. Also, increase the awareness and use of state and federal workforce resources. That's really one of our prime um, reasons for gathering, and that's because we want our business partners to know that there are resources out there available, and we will touch on these. I know you hear these often, but we want to make sure that you've tried them and that you're utilizing them. Develop needed industry training programs. Healthcare is essential in that we need to know what training you all need, what positions are hard to find, what kind of, um, are there training programs that aren't readily available that need to be offered to provide the workforce you need. And then, of course, it's alignment with education, business, and industry. Cool. And developing the pipeline of training. That's ultimately what we're trying to do here. So moving on, if you would take a quick look at this, I pulled this together the other day. This is just based on, what we're hearing. Number one, and I'm not necessarily ranking them this way, but the needs that we're hearing have to do with hiring. First and foremost, people, where are the people? There's not enough applicants, and then oftentimes when you schedule an interview, they don't show, things like that. A second need for training, whether that be a new employee or an incumbent employee. Then workforce behaviors, and that just kind of encompasses all of those employability skills, attendance, communication, all of those. And then our education connections to our business partners. Are you connected with community college or those training programs that are producing the students and the employees you need coming out of K-12? I'll stop right here and say I'd love to hear input from any one of our business people on the line. Do these encompass the needs that you're looking at? And if you can, speak to what is your greatest need right now? Is it still hiring and people? Holly, I see your picture, so you know I'm going to call on you.
Hiring is definitely top of the list at the moment. And just in speaking to other peers, I think that's top of all of our minds is we don't have enough people to fill all our needs.
Mhm. So training is secondary when you don't even have people.
Yes.
Oftentimes we talk about upskilling the people that you have and trying to, hire into the entry level. But if there are no people hiring into entry level, then that's the biggest concern. Any other comments we have on needs or challenges right now?
Can I ask a quick question? And Holly, you can probably answer just because it's directly related to your response. So, in general, and it doesn't have to be exact, but where are you in terms of shortages in relation to pre-COVID? Because, we did have, some workforce shortages before COVID, and then they've just been extremely magnified recently. So are you double, triple shortages that are just your standard or about the same?
Well, we have been tracking towards a nursing shortage for quite some years, and I would say we are in the heart of it. So, nursing's been a concern for a number of years, but it's really become a concern with the pandemic. Laboratory sciences, that has really hit. I've been part of several webinars listening in and doing some education myself on that. And as a field in general, that has become a national shortage issue as well for those areas. So we're really, the pandemic really sort of highlighted the laboratory field. And we know that not because of the pandemic, but because we've been tracking towards this point for a while now. But those two areas are really hurting us. And then just, where we are now versus where we were pre-pandemic, it's pretty spread out as far as needs across a lot of areas. Not just, those two I think probably are top of my mind, but we do have needs across the building.
Karen, I saw you shaking your head. Do you echo those sentiments? You're muted.
Okay, sorry. I do agree, and Amanda is on here too from our HR at EAMC. And I know one thing that I have been asked by our CEO and CNO is about respiratory therapists. We are struggling with a need for respiratory therapists. And we've talked to Southern Union about the potential for bringing in a respiratory therapy program. Those conversations are in the very beginnings. So I would agree with that.
And I know nursing, always an issue, always.
Always.
Again, I don't mean to put Dion Williams, put you on the spot, but we've now covered kind of our central and our eastern, and you represent our western. Are you seeing the same things? Well, she was on here. There she is. She could be multitasking and not listening in at this moment. All right. Well, other topics of interest. Are there any other topics, beyond the hiring? And of course, I wish we had the magic bullet, and there is no one magic answer. We all know that it's a series of small things that we have to just keep doing over and over. And just to let you know, we are doing some work on our side, or planning some work on our side, to work with nonprofits. I think that some of the things that we're hearing about those that are not engaged in the workforce are the challenges that they face in trying to get to the workforce, be it transportation, childcare, those other issues that we've heard about. So we're trying to work with nonprofits in all of our local areas to try to connect the dots between the nonprofit, the career center, the, DHR, however, all the ones that come into play to successfully put a person into the workforce. So know that there'll be some work, we're planning some there and hope to be making some small steps. We know that's not a quick fix, but I think the more we can work and everyone can be knowledgeable about what it takes in workforce, then the more successful we'll be. Moving on, I do want to share one quick page with you all. that is the workforce menu. If you all were at the Regional Workforce Council, you've already seen this, but if you were not, I want you to take a look and think about it in this way. I know our HR friends that are on the line, I know that I live with HR, so I know that your needs are immediate. When you need someone, you need them today. So some of this is more long-term, looking to the long term, but I want you to consider it. When you're looking to train your own, there are opportunities for both new employees and existing employees. You've heard us talk numerous times about work-based learning and on-the-job training. If that is something, if you need entry-level employees and you haven't discussed on-the-job training with your local career center, we would love to connect you on that. Because as people are coming back from unemployment, hopefully, the world coming back and being more okay with going back to full, pre-COVID kind of life, then we want you to be able to access those people. And when you hire from on-the-job training, you're eligible for up to 50 to 75% reimbursement of their salary. So just keep that in mind. A new resource that is out here, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I would love to pick your brains individually, probably. Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program is a new state program. It is from a state an awarded grant that was $17 million. It is for training of entry level as well as incumbent workers. You must pay $12 an hour, but you are eligible for $9 reimbursement, which means you would be paying an entry level person $3 an hour. What we have had a challenge with are thinking of what are those entry level type jobs that pay $12 an hour. I know that a lot of our CNAs, our PCTs, they're not making that kind of money. But are there other jobs within your hospital or within your medical facility that are existing jobs, maybe around the $12 level, and there's something that you could train them, upskill into the next point, or at least start them into the next point? This is a very customized program, and that's why we're going to all have to be creative to use it. However, North Alabama has the first employer contract, and they are working with an ambulance service. I don't know exactly what the positions are that they're training, but again, we're thinking outside the box. We're trying to think of things that can be trained, positions that can be trained, and that would be worthwhile, for a group of people. You could do consortiums. It's just, we're going to have to be creative to get this going. Also, moving on from that, existing employees, we do offer leadership training. If you have, even in your admin teams that need leadership training, AIDT, we facilitate that. Sabrina Wood is our organizer of Leadership 1, 2, and 3, and all those dates are on our website, and you do not have to take them in order, but that's a definite option and a great thing for your management or your supervisory levels. Again, we talked about Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program for existing employees. And then, of course, we always talk about existing industry training program and incumbent worker training program. Existing industry training program are resources that are available to upskill for training of many different kinds. Usually it's up to $15,000 for a project. You have to have, an increase of skill or salary or something to show from this. But our community colleges are typically the training provider, and they help write the grant. So that's why today I wanted, Dr. Shirley Armstrong is with CVCC, Chattahoochee Valley Community College. And as you all know, one of our previous subjects has been on the medication aid certified. And we talked about, what that being offered in several of our community colleges and how CNA could upskill to that next point. And they actually have done that. Phoenix City Healthcare has utilized that EITP. And so I asked both them and Dr. Armstrong to be on and to speak to that today. So I'm going to kind of open up the floor and let you, what I want them to show is that it's not so hard. It can be done. It's not, going to take you 6 months to do the grant. So I'm going to be quiet and let them speak.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll start off. I'm Shirley Armstrong, Associate Dean for Workforce and Technical Education at Chattahoochee Valley Community College. And my partner here is Ms. Heidi Dennis.
Hello.
She is the Associate Director of Nursing at Phoenix City Healthcare. And I'm going to let Ms. tell the group how she learned about the program and how we proceeded with it very briefly, and then I'll come back with any questions, wrap up in terms of how we concluded with this.
Good morning, ladies. I'm Heidi. I'm the Assistant Director of Nursing at Phoenix City Healthcare, and I had heard about the state going forward with allowing the MAC program, and I thought that was a wonderful opportunity for our CNAs to advance in their education and for our, as you had discussed earlier, in our staffing and the needs. And for our particular facility, we felt like this would be a great opportunity and very useful for us. And I'd been working with Miss Shirley at CVCC, which I am also a graduate of. I'm very proud of this program and how hard they have worked with us and with the grant to make this all happen. We're actually finishing up our employees' clinicals this week, and then they will be sitting for their boards to become certified in order to be medication aides here at our facility. They've had a wonderful instructor there at the college, and it wouldn't have been possible without this grant. We're a smaller facility, and I think this is a great resource for a lot of facilities to be able to move up their employees to that next level and utilize the staff that they have, since we all have had a lot of staffing issues with COVID and prior to COVID, but really, like you had said, COVID has really highlighted that for everybody, and we're trying to use our resources to the best of our advantage, just as everyone else is. And the ladies that we sent have really enjoyed this program and this opportunity, and it does come with an increase in pay for them, so it's an opportunity for them to move up and take on more responsibility and learn more in their field. So they've been very receptive to it as well, and we've been really thankful to be a part of it, and this grant has made that possible for us.
Thank you, Ms. Dennis. We did apply for the existing industry training program grant, and we did receive it in the amount of $9,101. And with that grant, we were able to, of course, support the program by paying the fees, the salaries for the instructor and the clinical instructors as well. We have been able to purchase all the books for the participants, and also included in this grant is going to be a voucher for them to actually take the MACE exam, which is the medication aid certification exam. That'll be at the conclusion of the training. Our program is about 5 weeks long, depending upon how long it takes the clinicals to be completed. We have been working with several entities in the healthcare, particularly with the nursing homes, to sponsor this program. We've been very successful with it. It has, it has to be planned, however, but we're very proud of where we are right now. And Phoenix City Healthcare has been great working with. They really wanted this for their staff. The staff is very, very, very excited about learning. As far as I know, everything is going well. And so in about a week or two, they will be sitting for the MACE exam. We partnered together. They needed the funds to support the program, and we supplied everything to support the program. And of course, what our mission here at Chattahoochee Valley in the Workforce Division is to increase our workforce. And so helping them to meet a really important need, of course, meets our objectives, and we've been happy to do it, and it's been a great experience. The entire process, getting the grant, writing it is not that difficult at all. It did take a little time, however, to get approval, and so we were on pins and needles wondering if it's going to be accepted. This is my first opportunity to actually have one approved, because it's sometimes difficult for your business partner to really commit to doing their part. And so with Phoenix City Healthcare, there was no problem with them completing their part in everything I asked them for. They were gracious in getting and supplying it. So it made the process very easy. So with that being said, I will hush unless Ms. Dennis has something else to say and answer any questions anyone might have.
Are there any questions? I'm sorry, I thought I heard someone. Anyone have any questions for Dr. Armstrong or Ms. Dennis? All right. Well, I appreciate you all sharing that with us. I think oftentimes it's, we have to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, because business and industry doesn't always believe us when we say, hey, it's not really that difficult, but it really is not. And I'm really thankful that these ladies have gotten the opportunity to upskill and, pay raise and on a pathway. So that's exactly what we want to do. So if any of you on here are interested in learning more about that, or how you might train some people through that, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. All right, just finishing out our little workforce menu over here. We've talked about train your own, but we also want to talk about grow your own. And I know you all are doing this. Healthcare is a field that is definitely plugged into growing your own. Not all of our industry sectors are that way, but I do appreciate the vision of healthcare and knowing that our younger students are really helping to fill that void in our workforce. Apprenticeships, I know there are things going on with healthcare apprenticeships, work-based learning, ready to work, adult education, all of those can come out of the community college. Often, ready to work through adult ed just gives you those employability skills. And I want you all to, I know you're all considering the opportunities for work-based learning. And then within our K-12 system, I'm sure you have tapped the career tech programs as well. We had on here tours, virtual and in person. I know that's very difficult for healthcare, especially clinical settings, and that's one of our great challenges right now. So I appreciate what you do, and looking forward to any opportunity that you can build for work-based learning, for shadowing, for any such thing. We have some great opportunities coming through our career tech programs where they are doing going into fields and having signing days and that. So again, if you ever don't know where to connect, turn to us and we will be happy to help you connect with these options. Let me switch back over here. I believe that's okay. Try this again. Yep, we are then. Sorry for that operator error. All right, well, I'm open. That's all we really wanted to share with you today. I would love to hear, are there any different issues that we have not touched on today? Anything that you would like us to look at in helping? I know the number one thing is find the people, and we're working on that. We had an encouraging job fair yesterday. It was for manufacturing, but we did have around 150 people to come. So we're very encouraged that maybe the tide is turning, that with the unemployment going away, that we'll have some change. I know it's different in the medical field, but any way that we can be creative, if you have a spark of an idea, I like Karen saying about the registration representatives, hey, let's try it. Let's try to see how it might fit in. It's just going to take us all thinking outside the box and creatively and making it fit until we can get back up to full employment, if there is such a thing.
I'd like to share something if possible.
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Hey, how are you all? Brian Klein from the Alabama Community College System. I heard some topics on here, and I just wanted to shed some light on some of the things that we have received from a system office standpoint. I know that the talk of respiratory therapy became up, and what happened was we actually just met with CAHEP here in April, because CAHEP is actually on the verge of discussing programmatic accreditation for respiratory therapy programs. And the reason why this is because COART right now is not accepting applications, and we only have one 4-year institution that has a respiratory therapy program, and we only have 6 in the state from an Alabama Community College System standpoint. So what CAHEP is trying to do, they're meeting with the MBRC here in submitting an application to be able to support and be able to accredit these 2-year colleges for potential accreditation, because we've talked to a number of employers that have all stated that that they will not hire anyone that has not graduated from an accredited school or have not received licensure. So CAHEP has submitted a proposal to the MBRC, and what they're going to do, they're going to be meeting in November. They submitted an initial one, and then the initial one they said was too broad. They had to be more specific. So they went back and addressed all those issues, and they have another meeting coming up here in November. And then following that, they will have another meeting in March. And upon that approval, there's a strong possibility CAHEP will be put in the system as being able to accredit 2-year colleges for respiratory therapy program, because it is a great need for them out there. So I just wanted to kind of give an update on that. So we haven't heard anything back, but we won't hear back from them until November when that comes back. But when that information becomes available, of course, that is something we definitely want to share across the all regions, because that is one of the highest demand jobs right now in the medical field that we need, especially during this time of COVID. The second thing, and I heard the information about the medication aid. If anyone wants to find out anything about the medication aid, they can always go to the Alabama Board of Nursing website. On the website, it has the MACE information that you can click on. It has everything laid out, how to start, what to do, time frame, and things of this nature. A lot of our programs in the 2-year college system has been doing very well with the medication aids, and they have definitely been impactful in our long-term care facilities. So I applaud what Chattahoochee Valley is doing, and all of our colleges are doing right now, because they are really affecting they're really trying to meet that workforce demand that we need. So, but that is, I did hear about the nursing shortage, which we've all seen across the board with that, and the laboratory science. We have been in talk with that as well to try to figure out ways to increase enrollment from that standpoint, and at the same time get them out in the workforce to be effective out in our community. So I didn't want to interrupt during that time, but I did want to share that I have been making notes of some things and trying to see how we could possibly help and affect what we're doing for in our workforce regions.
Thank you so much for that. Can I ask also, have you seen either regionally in Region 5 or throughout the entire state? I know we talked about this a little bit during COVID and at the height coming off of it, I guess last fall, but is there a decline in enrollment for the medical field or medical fields, specifically nursing?
I do not have that. I do not have those accurate statistics to be able to say that. However, word of mouth, it has been a drop in enrollment due to COVID and things of that nature. what really hurt a lot of our healthcare programs from a two-year college standpoint was a number of them, a number of the facilities were not accepting students for them to complete their clinical hours.
Right.
And that, with that being said, the applications went down, the opportunities went down, and then we still had students struggling to prepare for the test to actually be accepted into that particular nursing program. Because it is a very, very strict, well, I'm not going to say strict, but it's very competitive to get into these particular programs. And so they have to be mindful of them. And I know I've been in communication with a few colleges about entrance exams, super scores and things of this nature. So we're trying to kind of wrap our head around it to give students more opportunities to be enrolled in those programs and help them be productive out in our healthcare field.
Great. You know, a lot of the work in what we do is regarding pathways and trying to find those entry points for individuals that can either build on that, you know, go into continue their career in a variety of patterns or, you know, different positions. But I'm just very interested in, you know, why, and then I know that's $1 million question, but to all of you on the phone, have you heard those that maybe have lost nurses? Have you heard reasoning behind it? Are they burned out? Are they going to another competing? I don't want to say competitor, but any insight?
This is Heidi. At a lot of our area facilities, we have 3 facilities here in Phoenix City, specifically within a very small radius. And the staffing issues are causing burnout among staff. And despite fighting, keeping your census up, staff worked really hard through COVID, and some people have decided to retire because of it. And then it is very competitive to get into your programs, as it is with any nursing program. So you have that lag in getting those new graduates out into the field before, we've lost a lot of staff members to everything that everyone's went through this last year. I happen to have been enrolled in nursing school. I was an LPN and then became an RN during COVID and worked full time. So the burnout was, and we struggled with clinical sites, and then people coming out of the programs were all working nurses as it was. And you're seeing it in a lot of our facilities, and especially long-term care. I didn't work in the hospital, but everybody struggled. And as you try to get more nurses out into the field, we just can't crank them out quickly enough. It was just not to meet demand. And that was why we participated in the MAC program, so that we could bring our staff members up to that next level to help fill that need in an alternate way, which we're eternally grateful for.
That's great. And I know, Karen, you mentioned way back early on in COVID, the mental health aspect of COVID, what it was going to mean to healthcare. Are there certain things that are going on now to try to address that within your current staff, or is there time to even offer any?
Yes, we've done several things to hopefully help with those. We have therapy dogs that are coming in, offering staff just, spend a few minutes with a therapy dog. We have our chaplains doing a lot of things. Our HR department is doing a lot of different things, offering some counseling, just some support type group things going on. We have several different initiatives going to kind of help with that mental health aspect of it. But everybody's just tired, and we're not done with it. I mean, you think that there may be a little bit of relief, but we're not done with it. We've got a ways to go, and so anything that any assistance, anything that we can offer is, greatly appreciated and being taken advantage of.
Well, great. And we will continue to look for, opportunities for grants and things like that that would provide some mental health programs. We'll try on our side if we hear of anything.
Sounds good.
All right, well, that's all we have for today. Like I say, I never want to hold you just to have a meeting, but we, just wanted to update on a few things, wanted to give you that positive success story about the MAC program. I love that that's taking off and serving some needs. I would love to talk more with each of you about AWSP. I encourage you to be as creative as possible. And if you're at all interested, give me a call. We'll talk through it. We are still talking through it. It's a three-pronged program, if you will, with the regional council, the community college system, and the career center, or, the WDD, Workforce Development Division. So those three parties are all trying to work to get our head around it and how we can use these dollars and really affect some change and build some pathways and some, lead into some better jobs and better careers. So keep your thinking hats on and we'll keep plugging along. Thank you all for joining today. We'll send out some wrap-up notes, and if you need us, please give us a call.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.